the attacks, the firebombs on Starmer, there's a lot of speculation about why it's being so quiet, the media, and also why the media are letting anything out at all. I mean, there's little snippets of sort of innuendo coming out from this. Kit Clarenberg seemed to suggest this might be a way of sort of warning Starmer, we've got stuff, but we're not going to use it if you don't do whatever. What's your take on it? I mean, can you make any conclusion from what's going on with these four suspects who've been detained?
Quite extraordinary, isn't it? And it appears to be three young people who were in the male model and possibly escort business, and somebody who was controlling them. And it appears that they had information on where Keir Starmer used to live, several addresses where he used to live but doesn't live now, and vehicles he used to drive. So the information on him was a couple of the years out of date in some sense. And why? I mean, doubtless we will be told that this is some kind of Vladimir Putin gay sex plot. We're ultimately going to be told, I think, would be how the state is going to frame it if they don't try to bury it entirely. But what on earth is going on, is extremely difficult to tell. I would be lying if I said I know what's happening. What it looks like is pretty plain, but whether that is what it is, I don't know. I think Kit's theory that this is a warning shot, that people know more about the Prime Minister's private life and they can control him. I can see that, but on the other hand, I can see no indication that Starmer is doing anything at all except the bidding of the deep state and of Israel in everything. So I can see no reason why he would need to be warned. I really do not understand it. I don't. But the lack of curiosity of the British media is unbelievable. Because, if properties and vehicles associated with your prime minister are being torched by rent boys, that is a story. There's no point pretending it's not a story. Something very, very weird is happening. And whatever it is, it's certainly a story. And the fact that the media are more or less pretending it's not happening, except for little bits and pieces they let out, I don't know. But I happen to know from my time in the Foreign Office that there was a very definite tabloid scandal type story about Jack Straw, which I knew because I knew it from his bodyguards, and which I knew the media knew, but which they never published. And why sometimes they and personally I support them never publishing, because frankly it wasn't illegal, and it was his own business as far as I was concerned. But then you take a minister like David Mellor. Now, this is going back a long way. You may be too young for this one.
No, I do remember the Chelsea kit and all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. David Mellor was a junior Foreign Office minister who had a perfectly legal, perfectly consensual sexual relationship with a Spanish lady, which involved them having sex in Chelsea kit and and sucking toes, I seem to remember, and that kind of thing. And that was plastered all over the newspapers. But that's because David Mellor went to Israel, went to occupied Palestine, and in the street berated Israeli troops for beating up Palestinians and took a strong anti-Palestinian line. Therefore, the sexual material on him, which is all consensual and legal, there's nothing wrong with it, was outed front page headlines, and he lost his ministerial position and his political career was destroyed. And I've seen that happen.
So
I think
they choose who to go for. I mean, the other one I was thinking about with that was Portillo. There was a load of stuff about Portillo for quite a long time, and it didn't come out for years. Was that something similar as well? They kind of sit on stuff, and if they want to, they'll just come out and say it.
I think that's exactly. And it's not only politicians. I mean, again, older viewers may remember that when I left the Foreign Office, when I fell out the Foreign Office over the war in Iraq, but particularly over torture and extraordinary rendition, they leaked details of my love life to the media, and I was just a civil servant, and I found my over the Mail on Sunday, and they do, and again that was a perfectly consensual, normal relationship. It was an extramarital relationship, but it was a normal relationship.
Right.
They use it to attack people. They have files on everyone from top politicians to senior civil servants. And it's when they use it and when they don't use it, which is interesting. And it's very hard not to think that there's something like that behind this Keir Starmer story. It's very hard not to come to that conclusion. And I accept I may be jumping to conclusions. I accept I certainly don't want to be accused of being homophobic, which I'm not in the least, but that there does seem to be some kind of scandal behind that story.